What's up, everybody? Hey, welcome back to another episode of Animation Conversation. Hey, we got a fire ass episode today, bruh. I know what makes today's episode more special than the last. Look, man, I know you've heard by now. If it's something you've been anticipating, I know you've probably watched by now. But just yesterday on Amazon Prime, Season 4, Invincible, episodes 1, 2, and 3 dropped, like I said, just yesterday. And if you were like myself, I was up bright and early. They dropped 3 a.m. Eastern Time Wednesday. So I was up bright and early, man. Had to get it in, had to watch the episodes, watch them again later on in the day. And, bruh, this is a fire way to start off the season. There's so much going on. Each episode kind of holds its own truth, own story, but there's a lot going on, man. I want to let you know right now, this is a spoiler episode. So if you haven't watched 1, 2, or 3, preferably all 3, turn this shit off now.
Turn it off, for God's sake, turn it off!
Turn the shit off now, go watch the shit, and then come back, and then you'll understand what we're talking about. But if you have watched it, let's go ahead and deep dive into this shit, man. Like I said, this is Animation Conversation, and we're going over episodes 1, 2, and 3 of Invincible that just dropped yesterday. The first episode is Making the World a Better Place. And when we come into this episode, man, it's very nostalgic to last season. You know what I mean? We get the recap. We see how last season ended. And then this season pretty much starts where, you know, time has passed. In the beginning of the season, we still see Mark in outer space, kind of fucked up. He hasn't been back for a while. Oh, speaking of Mark, bruh, over here dropping, you know what I'm saying? Dropping a Mark himself, bruh. You know what I mean? We see some Mark in space, kind of all fucked up, you know, similar to like Iron Man, you know what I mean? And the Avengers and shit. But basically during this time, man, the Guardians, Eve, Oliver, I mean, they've kind of been on nonstop call, bruh. You know, a lot of shit's been going on Earth. Mark finally does come back down to Earth. You know, once he makes his way back, he does his part to help out. But you could see it all in their face, man. They're fatigued. They're bored. They have no drive. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of shit has happened, bro. Nobody really knows what the fuck is going on. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? We see this whole little, you know, intro where everybody's kind of doing their part. You see the looks on their face and they're just going through the motions, you know what I mean? And then it kind of leads us into Mark on himself, you know what I mean? He's doing a little mission. He starts hearing his voice in the background, and come to find out of nowhere, like this dinosaur called Dinosaurus from a different dimension comes out, tries to fuck Mark up. They end up getting into it. Right before Mark kills the dinosaur, it turns back into a human, like in a human form. And the human don't know what the fuck going on, you know what I'm saying? He's just like, yo, bro, like, please don't kill me. You know, I don't know what's going on, you know what I mean? It just, by the time I transform into the dinosaur and back, like, so much happens and I don't know. It's like, it's not my fault. But Mark was still going to kill this dude. Like, he had him by the neck, about to kill this dude. And then you see, like, the Guardians behind him, like, yo, Invincible, like, you good, bro? You know what I mean? And then Mark just lets the cat go. And this is the first time in this season that Mark is dealing with killing. You know what I'm saying? He has this killing gene, this murderous gene in him. And I wouldn't even say it's a murderous gene, you know what I mean? Like, up to this point, he hasn't been no ill intent, no craziness, you know what I'm saying? He was a little off the Richter last season, but as of right now, you know what I mean? Like, he's trying to, like, keep his composure. He's trying to do the right thing. But he's fighting that urge to kill, which I mean, at this point in time, we understand, man, that's just a natural Viltrumite feeling. You know what I'm saying? Omni-Man had it. We've seen the Viltrumites. Um, they're born to kill, and as we'll get into it, it will understand it a little bit more. But Mark, at this point in time, he's fighting that urge to kill. Um, so you know, it starts off there. Boom. Guardian saving the world. Mark comes back, and now he's going through this issue where he's trying not to kill at every instinct. Um, During this time, we have the new Guardians. You know what I mean? A lot of the old ones have died. Um, Immortal and Kate, ran off with each other. Rex is no longer. So a lot of these, Guardians have passed, and now we have Shapeshifter. We have Rudy, who's now Rex. We have Monster Girl, which is, I believe, April. That's pretty much the core. You know what I'm saying? Of it. And then leading it is Brit. Brit is basically fucking immortal. You know what I mean? Why? Because he is immortal. Like, Brit is damn near fucking immortal. He can't be beat. He's like a field general. And Cecil has put him in charge of the new Guardians, right? And it's caused a conflict. You know what I mean? Rudy and Brit have a conflict. One, because one's old, one's young, one's intelligent, one is scientifically intelligent, strategically intelligent. The other is field intelligent. You know what I mean? One likes to run shit with strategy and mind. The other one likes to run it with brute force and strength. They both get the job done in the right ways. And I don't really think there's a right way, but there is a wrong way. You know what I'm saying? And this power struggle at some point is going to cause the wrong way. And we kind of see it later on. You know what I mean? So this whole first episode is really just like an introduction to everybody's struggles. You know what I mean? Mark is having struggle with not killing anybody. The Guardians are having struggle with the new Guardians and leadership. Then we get to Eve. Eve's going through all types of shit. You know what I mean? She's still trying to mend that relationship with her parents, mainly her father. Her mom's kind of understanding, but her father don't want shit to do with him. She brought Mark for dinner. He's throwing shade the whole fucking time, just being a grimy cat. Basically told Mark, you're the reason why she's almost dead. You know what I mean? Like the 2 times she's almost died, you were the one involved, brother. You know what I mean? So, there's that battle going on. So everybody, and then even at Mark's home, there ain't a battle going on, but there is, Mark's mother is in a new relationship. They're trying to mend that. Buddy's trying to like fit in. You got 2 superhero fucking kids, with the girl you're dating. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it's hard. Like, everybody's trying to manage a lot of times going on, and everybody got their own shit going on and still trying to help other people fix their shit, which is a lot, man. So that's pretty much like half the fucking episode. So while all this shit's going on, like I said, Earth gets invaded. We got 2 invasions going on right now. The Guardians are handling the Sequids, who have come back. For those that don't know, the Sequids are those fucking little brain creatures that are latching on to people, and it starts controlling them. They were brought to Earth by Russ, the astronaut, when he went to I forgot, I think it was like Mars or some shit like that. He brought them back. Ever since then, Russ has been fucking controlled by these Sequids. At this point, they've taken over the city, and they got to be contained. And that's what the Guardians are doing. They're out there fighting them, containing them. While they're fighting them, the power struggle between Rudy and Britt is still going on. Britt's giving commands. Rudy's not listening. Rudy ends up taking off underground, doing his own solo thing, almost gets himself fucking killed. You know what I mean? While that's going on the other side of town, you have whose name is Universa. She's a warrior, like a warrior princess type woman. She's came from an alternate dimension. The reason she's here, she starts attacking a power plant, because the reason she's here is she needs all that power so she could take it back to her planet, to her, you know what I mean, to her universe. She uses like the staff that basically absorbs all the energy, and she's gonna take it back to her planet. Both her and Dinosaurus have blamed Mark, and the Marks. Remember, because we had a bunch of multi-dimensional Marks. They all blame each other, or they're all blaming him. They're like, "Yo, this is your fault. Like, what you did, this is your fault." And Mark's trying to figure this shit out. Like, what the fuck did I do? You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? How is this my fault? Like, none of this shit is my fault. So that, you know what I mean? That's currently what's going on. You know, Mark and Eve are over there battling Universa. The Guardians are battling the Sequids. The whole battle goes on. As Universa is about to kind of like overpower Mark, out of nowhere, here comes Eve, cracks the shit out of Universa, bro. Gives her a smooth shot to the chin, knocks her the fuck out. Boom, boom, boom. Eve does her thing. She fucking contains, you know, Universa, which allows Mark. Cecil pops in. Boom, they got that under control. So now Mark takes off, you know what I mean, to help the Guardians. They get that shit under control, you know what I mean? Like I said, these Sequids at this point in time are being ran by Russ. You know what I mean? They kind of got it under control. They teleported, you know, they're killing Sequids. They're teleporting people to safety, yada, yada, yada. Rudy almost gets himself fucking killed. Rex, whatever. He almost gets himself fucking killed. Luckily, he saves himself, you know, at the last minute, gets himself out of trouble. But then, you know, the containment bubble that they had to keep all these Sequids in is about to break. And Mark just boom, just snaps again. You know what I mean? Grabs Russ by the neck, and he's realizing that if he doesn't do something, these Sequids are gonna get out. And if one of them gets out, it's a wrap for the fucking world. You know what I mean? So he fucking loses it, bro, and boom, fucking just punches Russ in the face, explodes the whole fucking dome piece, and he just stands there, bro. And then like just like earlier in the episode, the Guardians are standing right behind him, like, yo, what the fuck just happened? You know what I mean? And then boom, the episode cuts off. However, that ain't the end. You know what I'm saying? That ain't the end. So at the end of the episode, we see none other than Conquest himself. Now, if you remember at the end of last season, when Mark defeated Conquest, Cecil and them put him in this underground jail where all that was showing was his head. Well, this motherfucker said, fuck that. He opened his eyes. His exact words were, the boy left me alive. What an idiot. And breaks out that bitch. Just straight busts out that motherfucker. It's like titanium, and he just rips that shit out the ground. Boom, off into space. We already know where the fuck he's going. You know what I mean? And that's how, you know what I'm saying, episode 1 ends, bruh. Boom. Let's jump right into episode 2.
I thought you'd never ask.
It's called I'll Give You the Grand Tour. This has probably got to be, up to this point, my fucking favorite episode of the season, dog. For a lot of reasons. One, Alan the Alien is damn near my favorite character, and we get to see motherfucking Alan the Alien. 2, we get to see a little bit more of Nolan's life. We get to see some of Battle Beast's life. We get to see some other characters that we haven't yet to see. But this is leading to the epic, what's gonna be the epic climax of the season. You know what I mean? This one episode right here is like the stepping stone to when we reach that climax of the season. We're gonna be like, yeah, that was the episode that led to all this shit. Like I said, this episode is I Will Give You the Grand Tour. It starts off where we see a young Nolan. We see him on his planet as a young kid. We see the planet is flourished. You know what I mean? Cities are at large. Viltrumites everywhere. Nolan was giving a class to these young Viltrumites, basically teaching them survival, man. Like, hey, only the strong survive. Like, Bottom line, you know what I mean? I think that he told him, we have a test tomorrow. Two of you gonna die. Like that's how serious this shit is. These are kids. Right after the class ends, you see two Viltrumites, a male and a female, come. They start chopping it up, talking a little shit, and then boom, they start going at it. Fucking each other up, right? 2-on-1. Nolan's handling his own, boom, boom, boom. But then right there at the end, right when he thought he had it, the female comes and starts whooping his ass. And I'm sitting here thinking like, oh shit, this motherfucker gonna die. Because you don't know it's Nolan yet. At this point, you don't know it's Nolan yet. You just see this Viltrumite getting his motherfucking ass whooped. And you're like, yo, this dude about to die. And then Buddy step in, he's like, yo, chill, bro. Chill. He fought well. Come to find out, that's his mother and father. The motherfuckers that were fucking Nolan up and he was fucking them up, that's his mother and father. That's like Viltrumite tradition, bro. To like, once you get to like a certain age, on a certain day, they come and hunt you down and beat your ass to the brink of death. Well, father stepped in. He was like, yo, he fought well. He did good. That's enough. Mom was like, both of y'all some bitches. I ain't never want to see none of either one of you again, bro. And just dipped out. Just dipped out. Left father, you know what I'm saying, father and son, they get there, you know what I'm saying, by themselves. And she was like, fuck y'all weak ass motherfuckers, and bounced. That is the initial, I don't know, that's the beginning to Nolan. That's the beginning to Omni-Man. Everything we've seen from Omni-Man up to this point was because of that moment. You know what I mean? Like, that's what they're bred. And like I said earlier, you know what I mean? Viltrumites, like Mark's fighting the urge to kill. Viltrumites from the day they were born are bred to fucking kill. Survive and kill. Conquer and kill. Kill and kill, bro. Like, that's it. You know what I mean? So we see that shit, you know what I mean, at a young age, man. Come to find out, this whole story is being told by Nolan to Alan, as, you know what I mean, they're on their way back home, Alan's home. He has his, you know, they get there, you know, this is where, you know, everybody who's not a Viltrumite and is part of like the fucking damn, I can't think of the name, but it's like their Galactic Federation. You know, that's where they're at. Like at the end of last season, we seen Thaddeus, who we find out is a Viltrumite. He's there. He's kind of like the leader of this shit. Alan's girlfriend is there. Taryn, some shit like that. You know what I mean? She's there. They banging it out every second. You know what I mean? Nolan's like, nah, I'm cool, bro. I'll sleep on the couch. No sleep, bro. Straight smashing. Straight clapping cheeks the whole time, bro. That's why I fuck with Alan. You know what I mean? Because Alan should get straight to fucking business, bro. But in this story, I fast forward, you know what I mean? In the story that Nolan was telling Alan, it explains how Alan's upbringing came, and it explains the near extinction, the genocide amongst the Viltrumites. As we've seen, billions of the Viltrumites, including Regent Argyle, who was the leader of the Viltrumites at the time, they all end up fucking dying from this virus known as the Scourge. They don't know who placed the Scourge. They don't know where it came from. They just know this virus instantly took out billions of Viltrumites. We find out later on from Nolan, there's only 50 motherfuckers left. Counting him, counting Mark, there's only 50 Viltrumites left. You know what I mean? Which is not a lot. But for Viltrumites fighting other people, it's a lot, bro. 2 Viltrumites fucking alive is enough to fucking destroy your whole fucking planet. You know, so they find out there's only fucking 50 Viltrumites. So Thaddeus, you know what I'm saying, the head leader, he was like, yo, we got to take these motherfuckers out. Like, this is the perfect time to do it. Nolan is all up for helping them get their shit together to fight the Viltrumites. But he ain't with fighting the Viltrumites because he's like, you know what I mean? Those are still his people, bruh. Like, he understands a whole lot. Okay, since everything that's happened, since him leaving Earth, you know, fighting the Viltrumites, escaping with Alan, you know, all of that shit. He's really changed a fucking new leaf at this point. You know what I mean? And you know, he's sorry and he apologizes for all that he's done. But at the same time, he understands why his people did what they did, especially to him, and he can't find it in himself to exterminate his own fucking people. You know what I mean? By his hand, he'll help guide you to lead. You know what I mean? To fighting them, but he's not at this point. He's not trying to get his hands dirty with the shit. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to fight that battle. He's like, this is y'all fight. I'm on the run. I'll figure this shit out on my own. I'll give y'all the resources y'all need. But other than that, man, like, this is y'all fucking fight. You know, like that's the bottom line, bro. So Alan brings Omni-Man, you know, to his home, to his planet. Like I said, Thaddeus is already there. Okay, Thaddeus and Omni-Man never met. So boom, they finally meet. They chopping it up, and Omni-Man asks, like, how have I never heard of you, bro? Like, you a Viltrumite, but I've never fucking heard of you. You know what I mean? When there's only so many of us, and he's like, yeah, you have, bro. He was like, but your people call me. He's like, our people call me something different. And he was like, oh shit. He's like, so you the betrayer then? And he was like, if that's what you want to call it, you know what I mean? But he was just like, I was like you. I was the first one who didn't believe in the Viltrumite ways of just destroying and killing everything. Like, he wanted different, and because he wanted different, he was labeled as a betrayer, and that's what everybody knew him as. You know, but now Omni-Man, you know, Nolan, he's sitting in the same shoes, and he's, you know, now he's kind of like caught in a predicament, caught in a pickle, because he's like, well, how can I call this man a betrayer, but I'm doing the same shit? You feel me? But at the same time, I can't respect you because I've always been taught, you know, to not respect you because, you know, you were the betrayer. So, Omni-Man got a lot going on. While all this is going on, Alan is trying to play like peacekeeper. Like, he's trying to convince people that Nolan is a good guy. And people don't want to believe it. So, they got to go out and they got to put this team together. So Nolan was like, yo, I know we got this bomb-ass weapon, and it will destroy Viltrumites on one shot. So they go out to this fucking planet. Nobody's there. The planet's destroyed and shit. They find a gun. The gun is linked to the original body. It's kind of like Thor with the hammer. You know what I'm saying? So when they find the gun, they go to grab it. Boom, gun fucking takes off. So they go chasing the gun. They find it. They search through the, you know what I'm saying, through the rubble and shit, and boom. Gun straight to me, man, is none other than Space Racer. This is the first time we get introduced to Space Racer. He is like your, I don't want to say Lobos. You know what I mean? He's just kind of like your fucking space bounty hunter, if you want to call it. You know what I mean? Like, he don't work for nobody. He's not about good or bad. He's about right and wrong. And he was either in a fight or he fought with the Viltrumites at one point on that planet they were at, and it ended up getting fucking destroyed, and he got like stuck under the rubble and just left there. It's been 100 years. So him and Nolan kind of get into it, and he was like, fuck you, man, I don't trust you, and like yada yada yada. But like I said, that's where Alan's been playing peacekeeper, and he's like, bro, chill, like he's cool, he's good. It isn't until Omni-Man apologizes and Space Racer even stopped. He was like, did you just apologize to me, bro? And he's like, yeah, you know what I mean? So at that point, Space Racer's like, all right, well, let me think about it. I ain't giving you no answers, you know. He was like, but let me go ahead and think about it. So they're like, all right, boom. They'll take that as a win. Off to the next one. They go to another planet. This planet is filled with Galdarian warriors, okay? This is one of the few planets that the Viltrumites didn't overtake. because they couldn't. The Galdarian warriors were like a fire race, bro. Like they were soldiers, you know what I'm saying? Fucking warriors at its finest, and they fought their ground. And a lot of them sacrificed themselves to make sure that their home planet was never taken over. Um, in doing so, it dwindled their numbers as well. So once they see Omni Man and the fact that he's a fucking Viltrumite, they fucking come out fucking guns straight, straight pointed out. Like, man, fuck you, bro. What do you want? Same shit. He has to explain to them, yada yada, and apologizes. And they just like, damn, man, this motherfucker, a Viltrumite apologize, bro? Because that's like, I mean, like I said, bro, everybody in the universe knows these motherfuckers are straight killers. And you got like one of them like main ones out here apologizing, bro. Like, so people are just like, all right, well, fuck, man, you know what I mean? So the Galdarian warriors put them up on game, and they're like, yo, there's this planet that we have this fucking this Galdarian warrior on, and she's kind of fucking dope, bro. Like she's the real deal. Fucking what was her name, bro? Tech Suit. Her name's Tech Suit, right? So they're like, all right, well, where's she at? They're like, she's on this planet hidden called Earth. Perfect. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah. You know where it's at? Yeah, it rings a bell. You know what I mean? So that already kills two birds with one stone, because they got the Galdarian warriors agreeing to help them, and they telling them like, yo, one of our fucking top elite warriors is on your planet. You got to go back to Earth anyways, because that's where Mark and Oliver are at. You got to get Mark and Oliver. So that one works out perfect for them. Then they go off to the next planet. This is where it starts getting super fucking fired, bro. This is where like I just was glued to the screen, out of my fucking seat. All right, you see him come to this fucking like magnificent fucking planet city, flourish, fucking top to bottom. Kind of reminds you of the Viltrumite city in the beginning of the episode, right? But then you see this motherfucking lion with an axe just standing there. Not Battle Beast, not Doc, but Mock. You know what I'm saying? For those that don't know, Battle Beast is not his actual fucking name. His actual name is Mock, or Thak. You know what I'm saying? And Muck and Doc fucking are both fucking like two of the most distinguished fucking Battle Beasts there is. Battle Beast that we know, he goes out and he's the fighter. Muck is more of the fucking ambassador, you know what I mean, for the planet. So that's who they're talking to. And they're like, look, man, if you're looking for him, go where you see fire and blood. That's where he's going to be at. So in other words, he's just out there in the universe. Since he's been released and since he's helped out, he's just been out in the universe just fucking on a rampage, just looking for elite warriors, because that's all the race is, man. It's like looking for the top. It kind of reminds you kind of like Goku and shit, and Vegeta and shit, bro. Like they looking for the best of the best, just so they can go and fucking fight them. You know what I mean? So, but the reason that this to me is so fucking dope is because this is like the first time we get to see a look into Battle Beast. You know, they've already had talks where they're gonna come out. You know, talks of coming out with an animated version spinoff for Battle Beast. They've already started the comic version, the comic book version of Battle Beast. So there's a lot to his story, and I can't wait till they deep dive into that shit. Because Alan and Battle Beast, hands down, are two of my fucking favorite characters, bro. So like I said, they're on Planet Dorn. That's where Battle Beast is from. They run into Muck, who's running the planet. He's the ambassador there, and he tells them, hey, man, he out there somewhere, you know what I'm saying, fucking shit up. Y'all just gotta go, y'all gotta follow the trail, bro. So they're like, all right. So lastly, they come to a planet. Oh, I'm sorry. They go right after they leave there, they head to a planet because Nolan informs them. He was like, yo, there's actually like this chemical, this toxin that you can find in these bugs called Sinlac beetles. So they go to this planet, and this is when you kind of notice when Nolan was a Viltrumite on his planet, he didn't always do shit to the way they told him. He probably assumed at some point he's gonna need a backup plan, or in the back of his head, deep down, he always had that conscious feeling of what he was doing was wrong. The reason I say this is because when they're on the planet and they're searching for the Sinlight beetles, obviously, you know, he's not searching for them. He's just telling Alan where to find them because, you know, their toxin is venomous to fuck, or their venomous toxin to Viltrumites. He mentions to Alan, like, Alan's like, how do you know about this? He was like, I was sent here to destroy them all. He was like, but I guess I didn't get them all. He knew he didn't get them all. You know what I'm saying? He knew that there was some buried and covered still. So like I said, like, that just kind of shows you, like, he wasn't always 100% with the program like he made himself out to be. You know what I mean? It's like he kind of always had somewhat of a backup plan. So finally, you know what I mean? As they're putting this team together, they're still missing one link. They need something just that's going to give them an upper edge. So he mentions, he was like, you know, there is one thing. He was like, there is this planet called Planet Savage, and there's a species on there called Rognars. And the Rognars are fully capable, one alone, of destroying a Viltrumite. You know what I mean? Let alone a fucking planet of them. They're so dangerous that the Viltrumites have a disc that covers the sun facing that planet, so that way all the Rognars stay fucking frozen on that planet the entire time. So the plan is they go down there, they move the disc slightly, you know what I mean, and they slowly defrost them enough to where they could pull one or two out, put them on the ship, and continue to freeze them. Right? Well, that doesn't happen. You know, jackass captain of the fucking of the ship they're on blows up the fucking disc trying to fucking please Omni-Man, trying to get on his good side of shit. Blows up the fucking disc. So now you got the sun just beating down on this planet, and it instantly melts the fucking ice. Alright? So now fucking all of these Rognars, hundreds of them, are fucking being defrosted, and Alan and Nolan are stuck on the planet trying to fight them. It comes down to the last minute, like, you know, both of them were on the fucking brink of death, and, you know, Alan's girlfriend Taryn takes over the fucking ship. You know what I mean? Tells the captain, get the fuck out of the way, takes over the ship, uses the ship to cover the sun, and instantly the planet freezes up again and allows these motherfuckers to goddamn and allows them to fucking to get off the planet. You know, all of this happens just for them to get back on the planet, and Nolan just be like, I don't know if I can do this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. And Alan and him are, you know, they're talking back and forth. They're trying to convince each other. You know what I mean? Like, this is what you need to do. This is the plan, man. Like we got to do this. Like, this is the only way it's gonna happen. Like, if you don't do this, they're gonna kill your son, and your sons aren't even gonna have a chance, and yada yada yada. Right? So he's sitting there. He's contemplating, man. He's just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna join y'all, bro. Like, let's do it, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna fucking join y'all. So, boom. He goes ahead and starts walking off. You know, they're still on the ship, on the spaceship and shit. And he walks off into this room, and he sees this vial. And he looks, and he's like, what the fuck? And it's a vial of Scourge. The same shit that wiped out his entire fucking planet. And he was just like, and then next thing you know, Thaddeus walks in. And he was like, yo, what the fuck you doing with this? And he was like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? He was like, yo, that's Scourge, bro. He was like, but not like the original kind. Like, this kind is like top of the line, like revamped, made better. Like, this Scourge is gonna kill every single Viltrumite or Viltrumite in the entire universe, all of them. And Nolan's just like freaking out, like, and then it clicks, and he grabs old buddy by the throat. You know what I'm saying? And he pins him up against the wall because he realizes you're the one that fucking killed our people, bruh. He's like, how the fuck could you do that? Like, you really wiped out, you know what I mean, our civilization. And he was like, bro, it had to have been done, dog. He was like, our people were fucking monsters. Like, they didn't want to listen to shit like that. You know what I mean? So they're going back and forth. You know, Nolan kind of calms down. He was just like, yo, tell me that this shit is just like a last resort. We're gonna lose. There's no hope. This is my only answer. And he was like, yeah. But we know deep down that's probably not how this is going to turn out. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that vial is there, it's going to cause problems later on, bro. It's going to cause major fucking problems later on. All right? So that breaks down that episode, right? Then we get to the post-credit scene. Like I said, by far the best fucking episode yet, bro. Out of all three. Because of everything I just said, then we get to the post-credit scene. And what is it? We see Conquest on his knees and hands and knees, bent down, begging for forgiveness. Not even begging for forgiveness. You know what I'm saying? Begging that his death be an example because he failed. You know what I mean? Without further ado, it was the moment we had all been waiting for up to this fucking point. The camera pans. We see goddamn Conquest on the ground. We hear his voice. Looks up. Boom. Standing there is none other than the motherfucking goddamn Rajin himself. Goddamn Thrag, bruh. Fade to black. Episode cuts off, dog. And you just left there like, damn! Damn! Bruh. The introduction of Thrag, you know shit's about to get serious, bro. You know shit's about to get motherfucking busy, bruh. Like, every fight scene we've seen up to this point has been raw as fuck, bruh. That's what makes this show so dope. Is their fight scenes are raw, graphic, just obscene. The shit we're gonna see from Thrag, like if you've read the comics, you already know the outcome. You know how the story plays out. If you haven't, it's cool, because you're gonna get to see how the story plays out. It's been pretty accurate so far. You know what I mean? But the shit that we're going to get to see Thrag do, the fight scenes that we're going to get to see Thrag being on an animated screen, bruh. Like, if you watch him in the comics, fire. Like, you know, the comics is real fucking graphic. You know what I mean? Every explosion, you know what I'm saying? Everything is just very graphic. You know what I mean? So the fight scenes and all that shit with Thrag in them in the comics, dope. But when we get to see him on the live screen, bruh, chef's kiss, baby. Chef's kiss. You know what I mean? Shit's gonna be fucking fire, bro. So boom. That's how episode 2 ends. We get into episode 3. We don't stop. We keep going. Episode 3 was called I Gotta Get Some Air. Alright. This is one of those side story episodes. Okay. So as you know, for those that have watched up to this point, last season, there was a character, you know, we had side characters, side villains, by the name of Machine Head. Machine Head was a leader of this group called the, what was it called? Let me think of the name. What was the group called? The Order, okay? Machine Head ran the Order. There was another leader called Mr. Liu. You had Titan. Everybody had their own things going on, right? You know, a war broke off fucking Machine Head got greedy, tried to take out, Mr. Liu. He hired Battle Beast. Fucking Titan and Invincible teamed up, overtook them and shit like that. Yada, yada, yada. They ended up fighting Mr. Liu, who turned into a big ass dragon. So now we get to episode 3, and it starts off with Machine Head and Titan in a bar, conversating, having a drink about how Mr. Liu is back and he's trying to kill him. Machine Head said he's already come at him and tried to kill him, so now he's just giving Titan a heads up because now he's coming at Titan. Okay, so as the episode plays on, we see that Titan gets attacked. He's out in the park with his family. He ends up getting attacked. Fucking kills the dude that tries to attack him. The assassin that tried to attack him. He fucking killed that dude. Just fucking smashed his fucking head in. And now he realizes, like, okay, this shit's serious. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta protect my family. All right. Well, all that shit's going on. We're back at headquarters. The Guardians are fresh off the Sequid mission, and the power struggle between Rudy and Britt is still continuing. They're arguing about him not listening earlier, which all in all almost got Rudy Rex killed. We see that when he goes to the shower, he ended up having a Sequid inside him, and if it wasn't for Monster Girl being there, that shit would have fucking got Rudy and took his stupid ass over because he wasn't fucking listening. He's just being super fucking hard-headed. He doesn't want to fucking listen to nobody, and it's gonna cost him. Okay. The main key of this story in this episode is we come to find out Eve, okay? Shift over to Eve and Invincible in them, right? Eve is losing her powers. She don't know what the fuck's going on. Every time she tries to use her power, it just turns into fucking this toxic goo. You know what I mean? She doesn't know why, and it's freaking her the fuck out, and she's trying to like grasp the concept of like what the fuck is going on. You know what I mean? So she's trying to talk. She's going through that shit and trying to talk to Mark, while at the same time Mark is going through the shit of he just killed Russ in episode 1. Okay, he don't know how to deal with it. He ended up meeting up with Cecil. Like while he was at the house, they come by and he was like, "Yo, Cecil needs to see you." So he ends up meeting up with Cecil, right? And Cecil's still full of shit. Okay, he's telling Mark, "Look, man, things are gonna be different. Don't feel bad. You had to kill that dude. Like, it is what it is." You know what I mean? Like he's trying to play like the good role to Cecil. While this is going on, Cecil still has Sinclair creating Reanimin. Reanimin are the robots that Sinclair or Cecil had created to destroy Mark. He had them created after Omni-Man, did his thing originally, and they're there to stop Viltrumites. You know what I'm saying? So that project is still going underway, and it looks like they're making them even fucking stronger than they were before. But Mark doesn't know this shit. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't know this shit. Like, he has him go and cover the shit up. He's like, "Yo, hey, Invincible's in the building. Stop what the fuck you doing. Cover this shit the fuck up." You know what I mean? Like, stop. Like, he can't see none of this shit. So, at this time, you know what I mean? Like, Mark thinks everything's cool. Like, he's trying to get a feel for Cecil, and he thinks at this point it's cool. And Cecil's kind of playing the advantage and kind of playing with his emotions because he knows how Mark is feeling right now because he killed somebody. So he's playing like that good cop, good shoulder, you know what I mean, to cry on. Like, nah, it's cool, bro. Like, don't even worry about it. I'm gonna sweep this shit under the rug. Nobody's gonna know about it. You're good. But Mark's just like, I can't, like I can't. So he's trying to like get his head around this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like he's really trying to like grasp this whole fucking situation. Okay. while this is going on, boom, breaking news. There's an invasion of aliens that have come to Earth again. This is now the third time that they've had an invasion from the Flaxons. Okay, the Flaxons are the one that invaded last time, and Omni-Man went to their fucking through their portal to their dimension and blew their shit up and told them never fucking come back. Well, they came back, and this time they came back even stronger because their time in their dimension is 3 times faster than the time on Earth. So even though it was, 3 days ago that or 3 weeks ago that they invaded, or whatever the case was, 3 weeks ago, on their planet it was fucking 3 months. So they've had time to like figure this shit out and build new technology and shit. So they come and invade fucking massive army. They come initially in with like thousands of fucking troops and soldiers and tanks and shit, and hundreds more are just constantly pouring in by the minute. Okay, so you have the Guardians and fucking and Invincible fighting these, trying to fight them off. They're not winning. They're losing the battle. So Rudy and Monster Girl decide we're gonna go through this portal. We got to get to their side because the emitter that's controlling these motherfuckers is on that side. So they do. Boom. They get to that side, and Rudy just, they fight a couple motherfuckers over there. They destroy the emitter. All's well, right? Wrong. Instead of just leaving, Rudy climbs up and sees, these motherfuckers are just getting stronger and stronger. Like, if we don't wipe them out completely, they're going to wipe us out, right? So everybody was like, all right, fuck it. Let's go. So they're running back into the portal. You know what I'm saying? The Guardians, Invincible, they're like, hey, let's go through the portal. Let's go fuck these dudes up. One of the Flaxen hears, and on his last dying breath, climbs through the fucking portal and shoots that shit and blows up the fucking portal. You know what I'm saying? So now you got Rudy and Monster Girl stuck in this fucking portal, and nobody knows how to fucking get back. And that's what Cecil tells him. He was like, yeah, we've been trying to figure out how to get that fucking portal since the last time we came, and obviously we haven't figured this shit the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? So now we got fucking Rudy and Monster Girl stuck over there because, like I said, Rudy Rex, whatever the fuck you want to call him, wants to go off and do his own fucking thing. You know what I mean? So while that's going on, like I said, there's a whole nother situation going on the other side of town. Eve gets a phone call because we find out at this point, Eve and Invincible are running their own security program where they basically are selling their services to corporations called Invincible Inc. So when all this shit was going on with Titan, he hires Invincible Inc., thinking he's going to get Invincible. But Oliver ends up showing up. They have words because Titan's like, I don't want some fucking kid. I want your brother. And Oliver's like, yeah, whatever he can do, I can do better. All right. So he's like, all right, fuck it. So then they go to Mr. Liu's house, you know what I'm saying, try to creep up on him. They end up getting to a fight. They think, first of all, when they get up to Liu's house, he looks like the old motherfucker from Breaking Bad. You know what I'm saying? But he still has enough energy to control his dragon. So he does. And Oliver and Titan basically get in over their fucking head. And they're like, what the fuck are we going to do? So luckily, Invincible shows up. Boom. They fight the dragon, doing all that shit. Liu ends up getting away. You know what I'm saying? Fucking then Invincible sees Titan. And he was like, yo, what the fuck? So he started beating Titan's ass. And again, he snaps. And he's like, yo, leave my family the fuck out of this shit. And he started beating his ass to the point where he was about to fucking kill him. And Oliver was like, yo, chill, bruh. So he snaps out of it, and he's just like, yo, what the fuck? Fast forward to the end of the episode now. We see Machine Head sitting at the head of the table, and he's holding the meeting with all the villains. You know what I mean? Obviously, we see this is, you know what I'm saying, the order that he had put back together. he was like, oh, we got a, you know what I'm saying, we got a new motherfucker with us, you know what I mean? Who is it? None other than fucking Titan. All that good shit obviously went out the window, and now Titan's back in the order. And he was like, oh yeah, by the way, we got one more person. Who walks in? Mr. Liu. So Titan and Liu both look at each other like, y'all fucking played us. And Isotope pops up out of nowhere, boom, and he's back working with Machine Head. He's like, hey man, like, let's just go for business. So basically, Machine Head and Isotope plotted to take back over the order, and in doing so, they got Titan and Liu to fight each other and then come to a truce so that way they could both fall under fucking Machine Head again. So obviously there's going to be a bunch of griminess going on in the city, as long as well as, you know what I'm saying, fucking outer space, because the order is back in full effect, being ran by Machine Head, and you know, two of the main characters in that is Titan and Mr. Liu. Not to mention they had a table full of other motherfuckers that we're probably gonna see, you know what I mean, like little cameos and bits and pieces from them, you know, of shit they're gonna do. But then this episode comes to the end, bro, and you know, we see it's nightfall. We pan to fucking Mark's house. He's in his room. He's in bed by himself. He gets up and you see like the bathroom light on. So you're thinking like, oh shit, like what's going on with Eve? You know what I'm saying? So he goes and he's like, yo, you good? And she's like, yeah, cool, cool. I'm thinking to myself like she's in there dying or something because, you know, like she's losing her powers. Nope. Fucking they come in there, she's sitting on the toilet, bruh, and she's looking at the motherfucking thing. She got a pregnancy test in her hand. This is positive. And then the fucking just pans out. And you're like, damn, bruh. So not only is she losing her powers and the world's about to come to a fucking end, but you pregnant with this motherfucker's baby too?
What the fuck, y'all? God damn! God damn!
Hey, bruh. Like I said, that's just the first 3 fucking episodes, man. We got a lot to happen in this. A lot's going to happen in this season, bruh. I'm sure this is going to be probably one of the best seasons thus far. I'm just going to assume that based off of what I've read in the comics and based off of what we've seen so far, I'm going to assume that this is going to be one of the best seasons. All we can do, man, at this point is wait till episode 4 drops next week, next Wednesday. If you in the Eastern time zone frame, it'll drop 3 a.m. next Wednesday. But we have a lot of time from now to then, man. So go back, watch it again. If you haven't seen it and you still watch this and got every fucking spoiler given to you, go ahead and watch it. And you can guarantee, man, like next week we're gonna be back and we're gonna break down episode 4. Today I wanted to just focus all on fucking Invincible. So we didn't talk about nothing else but Invincible. But next week we're gonna break down episode 4 and then we'll get into some other shit that's coming out, and what's new. But hey man, fire season so far. This shit is dope as fuck, man. I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure all y'all looking forward to it, man. So until next week, hey, bro, appreciate everybody. Hit the like, share, subscribe, and I'm going to see y'all next week, man. Peace.